Well, people at home, I hope you're ready for a throwdown because the fans here in Pomona are ready to rock and roll at the second annual U.S. Championships of BMX. The vert ramp is here, the best riders in the world are here, and $100,000 is here. And of course, my buddy Jimmy Coleman's down on the ramp with Jamie Bestwick.
Thanks, Cam. I'm down here on the vert ramp. We got Jamie Bestwick here. Jamie, we missed you the last couple of years of contests due to injuries. Coming back with a vengeance. You got a first place at the X Games Global Championship, got a gold medal in bike vert at the X Games, and now it's the last contest of the year. There's $30,000 up for grabs. How you feeling about all this?
I'm feeling pretty tired, actually. I just got back from Australia on Monday, so I'm suffering from a bit of jet lag, but we'll see what happens. You know, it's a nice ramp. It's a perfect place to have it. We've got a pretty decent crowd tonight, so let's see how we go. It's going to be fun.
There you go. He said it all. Not your typical Southern California night. A little bit cold out here, but like I said, who cares? There's $30,000 up for grabs. So I'm going to quit blabbing. We're going to see how this all plays out. Check it out.
$30K for the winner, and Jimmy, you're already blabbing too much as far as I'm concerned. 19 riders, 2 runs each, 50 seconds if you got the breath for it. 100-point scale, and of course, if you have the best run, you win. It's pretty simple. And run number 1, let's get it started. And people of the world, on top of the ramp is Jay Eggleston, and you know, he's from Denver, so he's not afraid of some higher altitude, if you know what I mean.
No, speaking of high altitudes, this guy could definitely push some high airs out of a vert ramp. And from the Denver area, a member in good standing of a legendary group of riders out of that area called the Lip Lords. Jay's got a pretty good pump. You can see some big 540s out of this guy, and he just came up on the tail whips within the last 2 years.
Yeah, but it's the height that really everybody watches for when they're watching Jay ride. Oh, sick turn down.
Clicking the turn down. You can't get that trick any more click than what you just saw right there. Going for the can-can one-handed look. He just maintains the same height in each and every variation as he flows throughout the ramp. Look, he's just easily floating up and over the banners right there where the railings stand. That's about, I don't know, 7.5, 8 feet right there by itself.
Do the judges dog you a little bit if you don't float across the top of the ramp? You know, it's kind of straight up, straight down with the way he rides.
Yeah, Jay typically in the past has been the kind of guy that's more of a straight up, straight down rider, but you know, it doesn't seem to affect his scores too much. And I called out the tail whip at the beginning of this run, and there it was, pulling it.
Gave you a little payoff there, your boy. Oh, how's that?
Yeah, a little double peg grind kickoff right there. So far, using every last bit of time in this run. He's got a nice little run going right here, and that's going to do it for run number 1 for Jay Eggleston. Good job.
Are we going to see, the tail whip again?
I would certainly hope so. Here it is. Check it out. Frame of the bike spinning around 1 complete revolution. It gets both feet back on the pedals.
And the score for Jay, an 85.20. Not an awesome score, but a good way to get it going.
And that's going to bring up Eduardo Terreros out of Algorta, Spain, one of the many European riders out here competing at this event.
He's from España, that's Spain, Eduardo Terreros. Jimmy, this a boy you know?
That's right, Cam. They call him the Spanish Fly. He's a little guy, but this guy's definitely got some talent. He's known for doing some really insanely huge airs, and he gets a little scary sometimes. He's got a tendency to hang up both front and back wheel when he does some of his airs, but he's got some pretty big tricks. He's been coming up big the last couple of years, and if he can put together a full run here, he's looking at taking home some pretty serious prize money out here in Pomona.
Well, everybody's eyeing up the prize money. Jimmy, we're talking about him. He said he's been an X Games competitor, but he just hasn't come through with the goods. What's he need to do to sharpen up his run? We see him going wall to wall and kind of working it. Not a lot of big tricks, so he gets it going right there, though.
Well, he's been coming up big with a couple of big tricks, and like I said earlier, if he can get it all together here, that's what you need. You need to have a full run, you need to pull the big moves, and you need to stay on your bike. And so far, early on in this run, he's already got a flare and a tail whip down and a 540 right there, and so far he's not having the hang-up problem, and he's keeping his flow going, keeping up his speed.
And he misses a little bit on the coping right there. The judges are of course, watching. But when you want to win the competition, you want to win the big money, you got to go completely ballistic your whole run. I mean, you're going to have amplitude from start to finish, starting it off with big tricks and finishing with big tricks, right?
Yeah, pretty much. You want to have good stuff in there, wall to wall, going for another flare and just pulling way off the lip of the ramp to the flat bottom and exploding on that one. Not a bad run for Eduardo, though, first time out. Take a look in the replay. The first flare, corkscrew style, landing that one super smooth. And here's a shot at the second one at the end of his run. He just pulled too far off the ramp. Look how low he lands on the transition. It just explodes off the bike.
The Spaniard takes a hit and the lead at 89.40, but up next, John Parker.
Has anybody ever clipped this on their tongue and talked? Yeah, we're here at the LG Championships.
He can kid around people, but he is a serious competitor. He will be up next on the vert ramp. John Parker, can he win this thing? Maybe.
Probably the person I look up to most is probably John Parker. That guy is the toughest guy I've ever met in my life. I've seen him crash and just get up and keep going. And that inspires me.
I'm not gonna win. Let's get this straight, I'm not winning.
Well, I don't know about that attitude, but John Parker can win it. He is our profile of the event.
Who was it that said that? Do something that scares you every day? Every day you can scare yourself crazy on a bike. I mean, there's so many things you can do. At any given moment, you could knock yourself out or do something super impressive. If you have enough coffee, you can do anything. Coffee in the morning, beer at night. Don't get them backwards, because then your day's just messed up, you know? I like the idea of having options. And I think that's the most important thing that I can help other people get is options, you know? If you came up to a kid and say, hey, how would you like to get paid to do these shows and tour around and have a good time on your bike? Or you could stay at McDonald's and do whatever else you want to do. You know, like options, I guess. I think it'd be really cool to create options for younger riders. Have them get the opportunity to do the things I've done. I've traveled like, you know, all over the world, all over the country, and I'm still doing it. And I think if I could help other people do that, it'd be a wonderful thing. It was weird, like I had the week off, so for the first probably 40 hours of his life, I think I held him for like 28, 30 of those hours, just looking at his eyes and stuff, and it's just crazy, like here's a life, like I'm in charge of this guy. Whatever he becomes, it's my fault. So obviously you want to do a good job, you know? It is crazy. You just start thinking about what the best thing you could do for him as opposed to what the best thing you could do for yourself. It's a sport. It's a creative outlet. It keeps me in shape. It keeps me out of trouble. Not that I get in trouble at my age, but it blends itself in. It weaves into every aspect of my life. You know, you get the stereotypical biker skater attitude, and some people just push it a little too hard, you know? You don't have to have all that. I like the idea of maybe people remembering me as being a little bit sensitive. I want to be remembered with a feeling, a good warm feeling. I don't want any words that come to mind. I just want people to go, Parker, and smile.
Well, I've known this guy for a long time, Cam, and this has definitely been one of the busiest seasons for him. He's got his own organization called the Stunt Masters. He's actually the sport organizer for this event for BMX, as well as the Mobile Skate Park Series. Traveling around, hitting up a lot of contests, and coming off the Tony Hawk Boom Boom Huck Jam, and judging from that little profile he just did, somehow along the lines, he also found time to clean that pool. That thing was nasty looking earlier this year.
Well, he's working the walls back and forth, a little bit more energy than we saw from our first competitor. I want to ask you, though, Jimmy, can he win this event?
Well, he's definitely got all the ingredients to do it, and especially after coming off of the Huck Jam. He said the level of riding that was going on those shows each and every night, he's definitely primed for this event mentally. But physically, he's got a bit of an issue. He doesn't know if he's got a torn tendon or a chipped bone or something in that left elbow, giving him some problems. And speaking of problems, a little too much oomph on the double tail whip right there. Just got it around a little too much there.
What happens, Jimmy? I mean, this one's the first tail whip. You can see easier trick. Now what happened here?
This is two complete revolutions of the frame of the bike. As you can see, the second turn around, it just over-rotated a little bit, wasn't able to get his feet back on the pedals.
Well, he's up and moving, and he's going to get a score of an 88.40, currently in second. There's still a second run to come for all our competitors, and right now, Koji Kraft, the youngest psychotic in the event.
He was also competing yesterday in the street competition.
So far this year has been pretty good. Not too bad of getting hurt. Just broke my eye socket. That's about it. Getting knocked out a few times. Not too bad. I'm definitely feeling it today.
He was also competing.
The oldest, the youngest.
Well, this kid's earned the nickname Koji Crash because in addition to having some pretty big tricks, he also takes some pretty big spills. Now, he's got the ingredients to do very well at this event, but typically in the past, he's had a bit of an issue with using all of the time in his run. He'll get out there and do some big tricks, but then he ends up sitting on the deck for sometimes as long as up to 25 seconds, Cam.
I like those floating alley-oops, kind of at the beginning of his run, floating backwards. Koji, no stranger to going big. I love watching him ride because you're never really quite sure what he's going to put together. And right there, doing it kind of low at the coping level. He's going to need to push it up a notch if he wants to get up in the top 3 at the final scoring.
We definitely started this run off with some big air variations, but as time winds down here, definitely lacking a little bit in the height department towards the end of the run. There's a 540 right there, pulling that one clean, and the downside tail whip, or you can call it a decade air. Either way, it's fine, and there's the buzzer right there. Throwing in a little lip trick for good measure there.
Jimmy, I mean, the crowd's stoked, but he had some big stuff at the beginning, looking good. Throw a little X up there at the end, but it just doesn't look like enough for the judges.
Well, these guys have a tough job, and they definitely want to see a wide variety of everything. But first run score, 88, and that's currently got him in third, so that's not too bad, but he's got another shot at upping the score.
And when we come back, Kevin Robinson and Dennis McCoy go for the big payday.
I'm next.
Welcome back to the LG Action Sports Championships. The man from Spain is on top. Jamie Bestwick from Britain will be up later. In second place is John Parker, but right now is Dennis McCoy's turn.
It's been a pretty busy year for me. I've done more demos than usual. I did a week of the Warped Tour. I did some shows in Disney. I did some shows in Florida. I went to Brazil for the Latinx Games. And then beyond that, you know, I run the bike events for the Vans Triple Crown Series and the Gravity Games. So it's been one of my busiest years ever. And in the process, I'm building a new home that's getting neglected as we speak because I'm on the road too much.
Well, we see him riding right now. All that he has going on, is that hurting his riding time, Jimmy?
I don't think it is. I mean, typically each year is really busy for these guys, although this year Dennis was on the Huck Jam as well. But pretty much I think the key thing for Dennis is he's healthy 100% this year. The last several seasons he's had some wrist problems, but everything's working out this year and he's feeling pretty good. In addition to working on that house, he still finds time to get out there, ride around the old bike, going for an alley-oop 540 right there. Kind of hard to tell from that camera angle, but it was an alley-oop 540, traveled across a couple sheets of skate light on that one. And going for the old up and down style flare.
You say old, is that just because we see a lot of the guys transferring when they do the flare and DMC going, you guys just sit straight up?
This is how the bike riders do it. The skaters hit the boards and the headliners do this one. Check this out.
Yeah, I call it the old style because typically you see the guys doing what we call the corkscrew style variation flares. I'll explain that a little more in detail here in a second. There's a shot at the 540, and look at it right here. See how he goes straight up and down with a little bit of a 180 at the end? Not enough rotation on that one, whereas the corkscrew style, guys traverse more across the ramp, more of a barrel roll style. And 87.0 for the first downing for Dennis McCoy. That's got him in fourth.
Well, one thing that is constant as we see Kevin Robinson getting ready to drop in, a lot of these guys are falling, they're crashing, and if you stay up, you're going to get a better score. As we see Kevin's fiance looking on.
That's right. So far, we haven't seen one person go wall to wall and use all the time in their run. We'll check out some of the highlights from this year. Kevin Robinson on the 2003 Mobile Skate Park Series. The guy's been coming up big. Of course, he's up there at Camp Woodward training all the time, riding with Jamie Bestwick and Tom Stober and many, many others. And coming off of a big finish at this year's X Games. He got his first ever medal at that event.
And he gets it started with the big, we talk about falling, and Kevin Robinson getting some height right away in his run, and then looks like he just almost like he just kind of crossed up going up the face of the ramp.
Almost even looked like a miss pump, although that's not going to hurt his score as bad as it would have fall. That's just sort of a reset. Not that bad in the eyes of the judges. There's a perfect textbook corkscrew flare over the channel.
And Robinson working it over the coping, and
another corkscrew flare, maybe looking like he wanted to throw a variation of that one. I saw the handlebars kind of tweak a little bit. I don't know. And another reset right here. Definitely not happy with the way this run's going so far. This is definitely going to hurt his score.
Well, that's going to put pressure on him for run number 2. If he wants to step it up, he's going to call it quits. Check it out. Just over the channel and nailing perfect landing.
That's what I'm talking about, traversing across that channel. Starts off a good 2 feet to the one side of the channel and travels a good 4 or 5 feet over to the other side. Nice corkscrew flare right there, and definitely hurts his first run score, 85.60, so he'd like to throw this one out and try again in run number 2.
Yes, people, that is the biggest, strongest rider in all of BMX, but don't tell Kevin Robinson I said that. Tom Stober is on top of the ramp, but before we get to his run, He knuckled down. People, do you have your tickets to the gun show? He's with pro wrestler John Cena.
Hi, I'm Tom Stover. I'm here with John Cena, and today I'm going to show you how to do a tail whip.
All right. So you're going to do a tail whip? Well, don't talk about it. Be about it, man. Let's see what you got.
You're going to go up on your front wheel.
All right.
Put all your weight on your front wheel, and then you're going to kick the frame around with your back leg and try to get back on the pedals. Give it a shot.
It's all right, man. So what, this thing's a tail whip?
Yep, let's call it a tail whip.
Well, I don't know if I can do a tail whip, but I can whip some tail. I can shoot. Cut the camera. That's what we about.
Up next, Tom Stover, straight out of the gym.
Well, I don't know about you, Cam, but I think Stober actually was a little bit bigger than that wrestler guy, and seen by the smile on his face, I think he was just throwing the guy a bone right there. I think if Stober wanted to, he could have just flexed and flipped that guy right on his back and taken him.
Well, the one thing about BMX riders, and especially Stober, is they're really not scared of much. And, you know, wrestlers can be putting on a front. It might all be a game. It could be scripted.
The things he's doing out here are things that I only dream of doing.
Well, I thought all wrestlers had mullets and they wore tights, too. I don't know. I'm confused here.
What about Beanpole there? Is he rocking the mullet as well?
It's kind of funny that you got the skinniest guy on the ramp talking about the biggest guy out here. Tom's actually been coming up big this year. He's been riding really well competition-wise. Got the flares and the tail whips and the 540s dialed. Can't say enough good things about this guy's riding this year.
And the whip there, and you talked about the 540, mixing it up. He could end up in the top 10 in this event.
Yep, he's definitely got some tools to put it all together and make a top 10 finish. There was three of those tricks, all three of the tricks that I mentioned right there, the whip, the flare, and the 540.
And ended up with some lip tricks to boot.
Check it out right here. Here's the tail whip. Tom's been coming up on this one, been doing it consistently all year long. Had some problems with it in the past, but this year, it's all dialed in.
And he dialed it right into a 5th place position for now with an 86.20. We'll see if it holds up. And right now, the oldest guy in the game, at least this week, Jim Burgess.
Yeah, this year I haven't been to a whole lot of contests. And yeah, coming here, it's made it kind of new feeling again. So yeah, I got jitters and stuff and a little rusty. Been doing a lot of shows, which are different size ramp. So then this ramp's big, so little rusty, little jitters.
Yeah, jitters nothing. The guy spent a good chunk of the season cruising around, doing some shows. You can see there he's sporting the UPS shirt. It's not actually sponsored by him. He works for him. He holds down a full-time job with him in Phoenix when he's not out on the road cruising around, and he's trying to get those guys to sponsor him. So my question is, what will Brown do for him?
I like it. Stepping it up, and the 540 getting out of the ramp, above the coping.
We saw John Parker talking earlier about how he's a dad these days. Oh, Jim going down the tail. Burgess here, also a new papa this season. Had a little baby girl by the name of Kenzie. There's a 540. Had a little bit of trouble with those over the last couple of years. And the tail whip right here. As you can see, the right foot just doesn't get back on the pedal. Caught it in the shins. Almost, but not quite.
And since I'm getting paid, I'll read what you can read. An 83.20, currently in 7th place. Good, but not good enough. Jimmy Walker is ready to rock and roll.
Oh, you want a different song? You want something?
I'd like to try some new tricks. I still got some old ones that are giving me problems, so I want to get through those, like maybe an opposite flare. And then if all goes well, I'd like to try a chuck driver. I've never done one on wood, so that'd be good. That'd be really good. But it's hard to say because I'm 2,500 miles from home and I have to drive home tonight, so it all depends on how I feel.
Well, what's the skinny on that? The guy flies around the ramp all right. He's scared of airplanes or what?
He's on the budget trip. Him and his buddy drove all the way out to California from Chicago, and as soon as this event's over here tonight, he's driving all the way back so he can catch football.
Jimmy is so rad. People don't even appreciate Jimmy. If you watch him, you don't even know which way he's going. He's going left to right, backwards, forwards. He's got a lot of variations.
And continuing his run below the coping and then up, kind of a nice pump move to that.
Yeah, he's got a nice flow, and with these wide ramps like this 60-footer here, he can cruise. Oh, the bobble right there. Almost didn't get that left hand back on the bars. That was going to be a bad one. Averting disaster right there and keeping his flow going. As I was saying, he likes to float through these big ramps. Lots of alley-oops, lots of carves. He's got the flare. Here's a 540, and whoa, weird. Had to take his left foot off and step down on the transition. Got a weird spin.
You never never see Jimmy crash 540s. I don't know what happened. I think sitting in the cold for a long time is kind of messing guys up. Because Jimmy doesn't crash 540s.
Well, I don't have anything to say. Parker just said it for me. Check out the 540. Looked like he just got a weird spin, and he takes his left foot off and plants it on the transition. And judging from his reaction, I think he rolled his ankle on that one because he didn't get up right away, and he was holding onto his heel. As you can see right there, he's trying to assess if he's hurt or not. 84.40 for Jimmy Walker, first run score.
And Jeremy Famberg coming up. He's from Greenville, North Carolina. Lots of good BMXers over there.
Yeah, he's actually originally from the Minneapolis area. Been living in Greenville for a couple of years. This guy's an all-around good rider. Lots of mini ramp skills, darn good flatland rider, and mainly known as a street competitor, though.
All right, so what you're saying is don't expect him to win, but hey, let's watch him because he rides pretty good.
Yeah, he's got some tricks. I don't ever want to count him out of anything, but you know, his thing is he just gets out there and he has fun, and he can do the big stuff. He can do the flares. Here's a shot at one right there. It's like he's tuned into what I'm saying.
And you see how he kind of slid out of it. In the run before, we saw Jimmy Walker put his foot down, which I think is a real bad idea. I like kind of sliding out.
Yeah, flare's one of those things you definitely don't want to be taking any part of your limbs off if something goes wrong. You want to hang on, and in that case, the style that Jeremy does it, you can just slide out on your side. I don't know what happened with Walker on that 540. That was weird. Jeremy getting tech right here, some lip tricks, going for the bar spin to ice pick. Looked like he touched his front peg down on that one, but getting tech, using up the last little bit of time he's got left on the clock here. Almost looks confused, like he didn't know if he had any time left or not. And the rest of the guys tell him, hey, you're not done. Get in there. Finish out your run. Another shot at the flare. Sliding that one out again. Tough break on the flare for Jeremy Famberg tonight.
Well, what happened with these flares?
Just not enough rotation. You see how he's just kind of heavy on the back end, and the front tires just sort of parallel to the transition of the ramp. He needs to be pointed more down towards the flat bottom. Check it out right here. Technicality. That's called the toothpick when you stall on the front peg like that.
And a solid run for Jeremy. Kind of a fun guy. Is 77.40. Not going to be holding up throughout the event. And hey, it's time to get dialed in.
We sent Jeremy loose around the event site to just have some fun.
I'm Jeremy Famberg. I'm here with Paulina. We're at the LG Championships. BMX just got done, and there's a band playing right over there.
That's right.
So we're gonna go check it out.
All right.
It's just another day. You the girls with the signs? My only two fans. I'm up there. My first run just sucked. Riding street. You know, I'm all over the ground. And I look, and these girls got the sign up, Famberg stomps ass, you know, but my two big fans, I'm gonna take pictures of these girls, because, yeah, no worries. I'm here with Angie, you know, since I kind of didn't do so good at the contest, I'm kind of looking for a new job, and Angie was kind enough to actually offer me a job here.
Well, thanks, little buddy. Jamie Bestwick now getting ready to throw down. He got a gold medal at a thing called the X Games this year, and he's probably the baddest dude on a 20-inch in the world. Well, if he's on wood, that is.
He's been coming back with a vengeance this year, Cam. He missed the X Games 2 years in a row due to injuries, but just like everybody else we've talked about so far, he's healthy as can be this year, and the guy has just been dominating vert competitions this season.
Well, the big Brit almost looking like he hung on that candy bar early in his run. You see him pulling it back, looked like he caught the crossbar a bit.
Just a little bit, but you know, Jamie's one of those guys with his style. He can just get out there, and sometimes even when he messes something up, he still makes it look easy and intentional. There's a perfect corkscrew style flare right there with a huge alley-oop 540.
Just floating it.
That had to be at least 3 sheets of skate light, and a weird mistake for Jamie there on a flare, not getting that one all the way around and having to slide out down the transition. That was bizarre.
But still so many big tricks in his run.
Here's one early in the run, just a regular 540, lots of speed out of that one, and here's the alley-oop 540, huge.
I'm pretty sure you are.
I should be mad because you just took the lead, but I knew you were gonna when you dropped in.
Kind of tired, you know. I've got jet lag from coming back from Australia this week, but you know, it's a good ramp, it's a good event. Everybody looks like they're having a good time, so
final run.
We've got second runs coming out. We'll see what goes on.
And you just did like a 20-foot alley-oop 540 landing front wheel on vert, so you can't really go wrong.
Wasn't even paying attention.
No, it's good though. Look nice.
Thanks, John.
Well, third place interviewing first place. Jamie Bestwick setting on top, Parker third, and the Spaniard sandwiched right in between, and Koji Kraft not crashing too hard and hold it in fourth, and surprisingly Kevin Robinson sitting in seventh. But hey, hang on your hats and glasses, folks, because run number 2 comes up when the LG Action Sports Championships continue.
So we're at the U.S. Championship of BMX. We got lots of top pro athletes out here. 10 guys sweating it out on a 52-foot wide piece of wood.
Welcome back to the U.S. Championships of BMX. We're here in Pomona, California at the Fairplex, home of the LA County Fair. I'm actually sitting here in the LG Lounge. I'm Jimmy Coleman. This is Dennis McCoy, 10-time champion in his career. This guy's been around for a long time, rides at all vert, street, flatland, mini ramps. Stoked to be out here. There's $30,000 up for grabs on the line here. What do you think about all that?
It's pretty nice if you end up winning the thing. Only one guy does, unfortunately, but somebody's going to be stoked.
So run number 1 so far, things were going pretty smooth. Had a little bit of trouble on the flare, kind of under-rotated a little bit, slid out. Do you have something planned out after that? Was something coming that throw you off a little bit?
Yeah, you know, I was so disappointed because the run went exactly how I had hoped. Couldn't have gone better up to that point. And, you know, I was struggling on flares a little early in the year, but on the Huck Jam, I got them dialed again. And to slide out like that and not be able to get to my last trick was a bummer because I was going to pop out and try an alley-oop 900, and whether you pull it or not, it's, you know, a good way to go out. So
things were going good till the flare slide out, so now you got a second run coming up. You going to go for the 9 again?
If I get that far, I may, you know what the problem is?
You're an optimist.
Well, the problem is even if you pull the flare, you pop out on the deck and there's barely enough time. So I'm contemplating just leaving the flare out altogether and trying to do the trick when you have a little bit more energy.
All right, well, good luck in run 2. We're going to head back over the vert ramp right now. We're going to check out the second runs.
Well, thanks, Jimmy, for all that useful information from DMC. What a cool guy. And it's time to get back on the vert ramp. Stop talking and start riding. Run number 2, Jay Eggleston. He's currently in 8th place. He is going to have to go up a whole lot of notches if he wants to win this thing, or maybe even place in the top 3.
Yeah, he had a really good first run, I thought, and he threw the tail whip. He got the tail whip in clean, and I've said this time and time again, but just kind of, a lot of guys in the sport came up with that trick within the course of the last 2 seasons, and Jay having a little bit of troubles with that one, but he pulled one clean in the first run, so look for more of the same out of him here in run 2. Another click turn down right there at about 8, maybe 8.5 feet.
Catching a little coping there, hanging a bit coming in.
Yeah, I got a little bit of a hang up on there, and Jay's got a pretty smooth style, though. Every now and then you'll see him clip a little bit of the back tire, but he doesn't ever seem to throw him off that much, and he just keeps on going, throws it right back into the flow of his run.
I like it when they mix it a little old school, you know, I like the turn down, I like the big no footers.
He's got a couple of old school variations. There's textbook 540. And it's nice to see Jay actually using a big chunk of the ramp. Going for the tail whip again. Oh, looked like he stuttered a little bit on the right foot, getting back on the pedal, but he did save it, pulling that one. That's 2 on the night for Jay.
Will he better his score, and will he make Jamie Bestwick nervous? I don't think, and a little downtime, that's definitely going to cost him the score, and good thing he didn't roll all the way back in, helmet off the coping there.
That would have definitely been painful. That alley-oop double peg grind to butt cheek slam right there on the coping. Check it out right here.
Or the splitter.
The splitter. Splitter is no bueno. Check it out, the 540 right here. Spotting his landing with a score of 85.80.
He bettered it a bit, but he's still in 8th place. And right now, Eduardo Terreros, he led all the way through round 1 until Jamie Bestwick went. A little bit of a surprise to some people, but he's definitely been pushing it up a notch.
He definitely set the pace. Everybody was chasing his score until Jamie Bestwick got his first run. But it's good to see Eduardo putting together a full run and using all of his time. Had a little bit of a bobble on the flare at the end of his first run, but we'll see what he's got at his second outing here. There's the flare, getting that one around perfectly that time.
Definitely pumping a lot of height. Oh, check him.
Oh, man. Locking up front tire on the look back 540. That was, you never like to see that. Just fell straight from the top of the ramp.
And I'll tell you, ladies and gentlemen, these guys are the rock stars of action sports. They push it up, you know, whether they're riding dirt bikes, BMX bikes, skateboards, they put it on the line. You can see just hung up.
Oh, just hung up bad. Half of that front wheel and just falling straight to the side of his head. Kids, if you're watching this, I've said it before and I'll say it again. Safety gear. These guys wear the full face motocross helmets. They're not messing around. These guys are out here doing what they love to do. But unfortunately, this does go hand in hand with the sport. And these guys always use safety first. And you never like to see anything like this happen. Check it out. Look at another shot at this. The look back 540. And just, man, he hung up both tires on that one, Cam, and just going straight down.
Yeah, Eduardo's gone down, so it's pretty tough at the minute.
We have an excellent medical staff on hand when stuff like this happens, and see a little bit of blood on the ramp right there. It looked like he kind of hit his face on the crossbar. Once again, full face motocross helmets. If you guys are riding BMX, the skateboard helmets aren't going to cut it. Just strapping him down there as a safety precaution.
And the good news is he did give us a thumbs up just before that, and he's going to be all right. And, you know, John Parker has to follow that. That has got to be one of the toughest jobs in action sports, going after one of the guys you know might be your friend, is carted away.
Yeah, it's definitely a bit of a buzzkill, but the contest must go on, and you have to figure out a way to put that behind you. John Parker here in run number 2. Will we see the double tail whip?
It's been a busy year. It's been rad, though. I mean, we've done tons of shows with the ASA. Went to Disneyland for 25 days, which after 25 days is not the happiest place on earth, but it's still okay. Did the Huck Jam for 2 months. Had a baby while I was on the road. So A was on the road, B was at home with the wife and baby. I'm actually buzzing right now.
An amped up guy, pretty stoked, but he's going to have to push it up a notch. A 93.40 is what he needs to take over Jamie Bestwick's spot at the top. And, well, a solid run going down right now, but I don't know if it'll be enough.
Yeah, we'll have to wait and see. Going for the tail whip over the channel, taking himself a bit of a restart here. Definitely don't want to mess around. You don't have a lot of time, so you don't want to eat up too much of your clock time on the deck right there. There's another tail whip. Weird one. Just kind of got a weird landing.
Are you surprised that he spent the time to reset and then came back with the tail whip?
Yeah, I think he might have wanted a bigger setup here to go for a double. I don't know. It just surprises me that he sat up there and then just rolled into a regular tail whip.
And right now it's his run to score, the best of. Second place where he sits with a 91.60, so Bestwick still on top. And the LG Action Sports Championships is about more than just the vert BMX. Of course, we had the inline skaters. You can see the transfer there, the street, and the skate guys were in the house. That was Sandro Diaz twisting like a mad dog. For more, log on to lgactionsports.com.
What? What do you want? What can I do for you?
Well, the biker in black telling it all. The LG Action Sports has all kinds of good stuff going on. And right now, let's check in with a little M80.
Never thought you'd see the day that I would come home screaming. Never thought you'd walk away from me this way. You never see me screaming at the top of my lungs, standing in the driveway. Began, yeah, yeah, yeah. Before it began, well, it's over before it began.
All right, well, a little rock and roll action, but it's time to get back to the vert Berts. You know, the guys who get air out of this mammoth ramp. And hey, let's get going with the guy that can rock and roll. Little motorhead, as you like to say. Jason Davies is in the house.
Let's check it out, sporting the big old motorhead belt buckle. See, he's modest. He started to cover that thing up, said, nah, I'm going to rock it right there. I don't know. A lot of guys give him a hard time about wearing that thing. Like, man, what happens if you slam? That thing's going to stab you right in the gut.
Well, a ring can pull your finger off if it catches on a screw if it's backed out, but this guy is so funny. I actually spent some time in Australia with him, and his whole thing is like the curry meal, the Indian restaurants, and we're in Australia, and he's sending food back because it's not hot enough. I'm like, I don't like mine, but I'm hanging on to it because I think someone's going to be spitting on this thing.
He's all about the Vindaloo. This guy's super stylish. We actually haven't seen him in a contest in 2 years. After the 2001 X Games, he decided to hang it up for a little while, spent a lot of time doing shows, and this is actually sort of his comeback event here, Cameron.
Well, I kind of wish he ran the open face, even though it's not safe, so we can see the chops he's running under there.
The chops are in full effect. He's had those things for a couple years. It's all about this guy's style. Went up to Woodward West to go practice for this event.
He's throwing a what up Lemmy right there, huh?
That was the Lemmy tribute. Going for the can look back, something that Jason's known for in the sport, does those super stylish. Going for the downside foot plant right there.
Something we don't see a lot of in the event, the foot plant, and that's probably why. He's got a 79.40 on that run. Woo! And now, Jim Burgess. Jim, are we having too much fun doing this or what?
Oh, we're having a good time. This is actually the Phoenix section of the show. These guys both live actually a block away from each other. Phoenix boys, they practice in John Parker's backyard. He's got a vert ramp there, got a foam pit in the backyard. So these guys been learning some tricks there over the last 6-7 months or so. Burgess getting it together so far here, going for the no-hander to no-footer. Not as much extension as he would have liked on the no-footer, but I saw some daylight between those shoes and the pedals.
And going for the can, keeping a little mix with the old school in there, but flying out of the ramp, and yeah, transferring a bar spin.
He's been working on the tail whips and the flares in Parker's foam pit. He came pretty close to the tail whip in the first run, although lately these guys haven't had too much time in the foam pit because it gets hot there in Phoenix in the summertime, and the big problem now is they got scorpions that are nesting inside that thing, so you don't be launching yourself into the scorpion pit.
Wow, so you're like National Geographic and the Weather Channel all together there, Jimmy.
Oh yeah, you know, I'm tuned with everything that's going on. Bugs, spiders, you name it. Jim Burgess getting the tail whip down that time around, calling it right there. I don't know, maybe not.
Yeah, that's gonna do it. Time is up. Burgess with the 5.
Almost hanging front tire on that one. He had to muscle that around the last little bit of the way there. That could have been hairy.
And the score coming in,
84.80. He bumps it up a little bit from run number 1. It's got him in 9th.
And now it's time for Mike Mancuso from NC.
Yeah, I'm loving it right now. It's pretty much the best I've ever felt.
All right, well, there you go. You heard the man. He's feeling good. So see what he's got here in run number 2. Mike's got the old flare in his bag of tricks. Maybe we'll see him bust one of these things over the channel here. I don't know. What do you think, Cameron?
I definitely think we're going to see the flare. The question is, will we see a lot of other stuff? And there's the flare, putting it down.
That had to be one of the smoothest flares I think I've ever seen Mike Mancuso do. Oh, lawn dart right there. See what I'm talking about?
Drifting to the bottom.
That's definitely not going to help your score any, but, you know, he's still got lots of time left. He can recover from that. At least he stayed on the bike. I don't know what happened there. Maybe a mispump.
It's almost like he got the flare, and he's like, whew, got it. Now he's kind of like, okay. And he's like, that's going to do it.
Yep. Restart right here. I don't know if he's going to use the remaining time he's got left on the clock. This definitely hurts your score. If you've got time left on the clock and you don't use it, or if you take too much time to reset up there, that will definitely hurt your score. The judges do not like that.
See what he's got, see if he'll throw something big to try to impress the judges here at the end, and a flare over the channel to butt slide.
Too many blank walls and setup airs in that run, so we'll see what the judges think on this one.
I have a feeling it's going to be a medium thumb sideways, you know, not up, not down. The fans still are digging it, though.
Neutral thumb, that's what you're going for?
Is that a fist?
No, well, kind of like that. I don't know, you can't see my hands in TV land there. All right, here we go. Here's the first flare. This was a pretty high and a nice, good landing on the flare and got some speed out of it. Attempt number 2, going over the channel. I said maybe at the beginning of the run, and he went for it, and not enough. Didn't get the front tire pointed towards the flat bottom and just had to slide off right there.
And sliding off is going to hurt your scores. We'll see what the judges said, and they said his first run was better, so he's going to hang in 12th, but we did check in with him about some training tips.
Fitness is pretty much super important, you know, for us staying healthy. You got to eat right, working out, just keeping your metabolism kicking.
These action sports athletes require strength, flexibility, balance, endurance.
A minute run, you know, on this vert ramp doesn't really seem like it's a lot, but once you start doing it continuously, your heart's pumping. You pretty much got to stay on top of the game, you know, a lot of stretching, a lot of working out, weights. I like to do some jogging and stuff with my girlfriend back home.
If they had the ability to monitor their training, that would definitely pay off. It gives them the confidence to know that they can hit their peaks when they need to.
Keep it motivated.
You break your visor, Burgess?
Koji's an ornery little kid. Now, Koji's
All right, you gotta stop there. I am not a rug! I am not an Oriental rug!
yeah, he's a really good rider, and he's a ball of energy, and I love the kid.
Koji is one of the best friends you could have. He's a little flighty at times, but the kid rules, and he always makes you smile, so you can't hold it against him.
That's right. That's why we keep him around. I kind of adopted this guy as my little brother. I take care of him when we're out on the road, and this kid's just high energy when he's on the ramp. Lots of bar spin variations, and look out for the combo moves. You'll see this kid doing 2, 3, sometimes even 4 tricks in one in the middle of a run.
And you see him throwing the combos there. I actually think that he's one of the brightest spots of the future of BMX vert. He could show up winning major events in not the too distant future.
Well, we talked about it in his first run. If he could just keep it together and work on the timing factor and a little bit in the height department with some of these tricks, he's definitely a force to be reckoned with in the years to come.
One thing we should point out, Jimmy, is that the judges do score well for above the coping and then coping tricks. Some of the guys working it to their advantage, and we'll see if it works for Koji.
Taking a bit of a restart right there, rolling back in, a little bit of time left, going for the tail whip to X up there, combo move. Once the frame of the bike comes around and your feet hit the pedals, you give those handlebars just a little extra crank for some added points. Check it out right here, tail whip, frame of the bike coming around, getting the feet back on the pedals, and see that, and the little twist of the handlebars there, that's what they call the tail whip to X up. And right here, right out of that trick, the opposite 540. He's spinning the opposite direction than he normally turns on this trick right here. Big points for that one. And second run score ups the ante a little bit, 89.40, and that keeps him in third.
How I get ready for a run is I listen to a lot of Guns N' Roses. Drink a lot of coffee. And remember where I came from, what I'm doing, and I ain't taking nobody's. That's how I get ready for a run. Rawr!
He's kind of running that Axl Rose, Guns N' Roses look. He's rocking the sleeveless t-shirt right there, got all the tattoos. And if you look hard, he's got the blue bandana in the back left pocket there, Cameron.
He is his own rock and roll show. I got to give him props, though. He is a great BMX rider, even though he is a showman, an announcer, a TV personality. Right there, an alley-oop 5.
Does a little bit of everything, and who knows, in the near future, we might see Rick Thorne, the actor. He's been taking some acting classes and trying to bust into Hollywood, so we might see him up there on the big screen here in the near future.
I'm scared.
Hey, you know what? When he makes it big and you see him on the cover of People magazine, we can say we knew him back when.
Dang, Rick Thorne blowing up, and right now trying to get his part of that $100,000. That's right, the purse. Oh, yeah.
The tail whip foot plant. He can actually do the tail whip. He learned that over the last year and a half, but that was the tail whip foot plant, taking it old school right there. Here's a look at the alley-oop 540, spinning 540 degrees while drifting the opposite direction. He's actually turning. That's what they call the alley-oop. It's universal for a lot of these sports. And the tail whip foot plant. Jumping back onto that one right there. Don't get your bandana caught in your chain wheel.
And Rick Thorne doesn't look very happy. That run to a 79.80. It puts him in 13th. That's a lucky number for some people, but not for me. But hey, you gotta stick around because the bad dogs are coming to the house. Bestwick and Robinson will rock soon enough. Yeehaw! Well, can I say that on TV, Jimmy?
I think so.
All right, it's the LG Action Sports Championships, and right now the boys are getting ready to continue run number 2. Jamie Bestwick currently on top, but right now it is time for Best Rex. I hate saying Best Rex, and please don't show me the Spaniard crashing it. Jimmy, this is vicious.
This is gnarly. This is a look back 540 where he doesn't hang up front wheel, but both front and back wheel going down hard. Actually hit his face on the crossbars as well as hitting the knockout button on the side of the head right there.
The good news, Jimmy, he was up and around, and before they transported him, broken orbital bone is what they're saying. And right now, DMC Dennis Mccoy on top of the ramp, and well, he wants to throw down a big run right now.
Yeah, you heard him talk about it early in the show in that soundbite. Flare didn't work out for him in run 1, and he said he might try it here a little earlier in the run. So
how's the height?
Well, you know, he does it the old school way. I've said it before. He goes straight up and down, but he was talking about it in that little sound clip. He said, you know, you get tired at the end of your run, and you need to have some juice to muscle that trick around. So we'll see if DMC throws it here in the middle of the run. Go for the can look back. Bar spin grab, the bar spin back.
And then the alley-oop 540, nice.
Yep. Kind of hard to tell from that angle, but it was an alley-oop 540. And there's a bar spin 540. Very, very difficult 540 maneuver right there.
And Kevin Robinson watching on, I think, you know, he believes he can win this event. Whoa!
Dennis, oh my goodness, with the 900.
That's a little bit of a surprise thrown down.
I haven't seen him try one of those in a long time, and he almost made that. It looked like his left hand just slipped off the bars and just threw him off the bike. That was so close. Check it out right here. There's the alley-oop 540, traversing at least a sheet and a half worth of skate light on that one. And check it out, the 900. So close on this one. Spot the landing, and just the left hand just slipped off the bars.
It almost looked like he was going to keep rotating a little bit, and that's why I blew him off to the side. He's totally committed, head cocked to the side. And Dennis McCoy sitting in third place, a 90.60. Will it last? That's the question, but very solid run. And this guy right now sitting in 7th place. Ooh, yuck. Kevin Robinson will push it up a notch. Stand back, people.
Yeah, being in 7th place, that's kind of unfamiliar territory for Kevin. There's his fiance, Robin, right there. So had a little bit of trouble in run number 1. A couple of restarts. It looked like he got a miss pump in the first run and had to jump out, sit on the deck, and get himself a restart. So we'll definitely see some craziness out of Kev here in run 2. The corkscrew flare over the channel. We saw that in the first run. He's got that trick pretty dialed, and he's actually got several different variations of the flare.
That big Superman there, getting some height and keeping the height, not working the lip here in this part of the run. And wow, lots of rotation, almost kind of landed down towards the flats.
He's keeping it going, keeping his speed, keeping the continuity of his run going. The no-handed flare.
You talked about the variations, and there it comes.
Well, I've seen him do that trick before, but I've never seen him do it over a channel. There it was. And the no-hand to switch hand flare. Wow, check that one out. Here's the no-handed flare over the channel. Look how far he lands on the other side of the channel. That's 10 feet right there, people. And the no-hand to switch hand flare. Takes his hands off and then grab it switch hand, which is where you just take one hand off and slide the right hand over to the left side of the bars in Kevin's case. 91.40, that definitely moved him up.
And that pushes McCoy down, and now your current leader, if I'm not mistaken, Jamie Bestwick has a little bit of a glory run going on right here.
Yep, this one's going to be a victory lap for Mr. Bestwick, although he's not one to get out there and just cruise. He'll go out here, he'll throw down the usual Jamie Bestwick style of riding, and this one's all about the fans, just having a good time with your friends on the deck, so we'll see what he's got here in this last run.
I'll tell you one thing I see about Jamie Bestwick, especially right now, he's just flowing and stylish. I mean, I don't want to say it's beautiful to watch him ride. It sounds kind of silly, but it really is.
Yeah, he definitely has a super smooth style. It's pleasing to the eye when he's out here doing his thing. And he's got this crazy pump where you see him land something, you just wonder how in the world does he get that much speed out of some of these tricks and be able to keep the flow of his run going. There's a corkscrew flare. See what I mean? Get speed out of that going to a 540. That was an opposite flare for Jamie. He turned to the right on all of his airs.
He's just good. That's all you got to say.
That really is all you have to say. It's his glory run. He doesn't have to do anything. He does the flare to 540 to opposite flare. And he's still going and still pushing.
You know, and it's crazy to think just a couple of years ago, this guy was a fan blade inspector for jet engines back in Great Britain, decided to pack it up, moved over here to the States with his wife, and just pretty much focus on his riding, and it's paid off gangbusters over the last couple years. Look at it right here. Perfect execution on the corkscrew flare, landing right under the signage stickers right there on the vert and into the 540, getting speed out of a flare to do a 540. Just perfection by Jamie Bestwick.
I think perfection's a good word, Jimmy. I think I could say fairly that he stomped everyone in Pomona. His second run is better than his first run. He didn't even need to do it. He's like, hey, where's the guy with the $30,000 check? I won. John Parker in second, and props to Kevin Robinson for keeping it together. We knew he wouldn't finish in 7th. Of course, our buddy Koji Crash hanging on, walking out of the place, and props to Tom Sober with the 7th place finish. There's your top 10, and Jimmy's on the ramp with our winner.
All right, sitting here on the flat bottom, still a little chilly, but with our winner, Jamie Bestwick, chalk up another W for your season. You've got pretty much every contest you've entered this year, you've won with the exception of 2. I mean, you've had a great season.
Yeah, you know, it's been a really good year. You know, last season, unfortunately, around the time of the big contest, I had an unfortunate injury, but this year I just came out and capitalized, you know. I got some new tricks in the bag, and, you know, the ramps have been going my way this year. Just, they've got to 13 feet in statue now, so it's a nice size that I like to ride, and you know, it makes it fun. You know, you come out here, great events, crowd are good, and everybody seems to get into it, so it only brings the best out in the riders, and that's what we got tonight. We got a good contest.
Congratulations. 2003 LG Action Sports Championship for BMX Vert. Jamie Bestwick taking another one this year.
I never spoke so much.
Well, the British accent, he said he never spoke so much, so many interviews. And hey, he's not done yet. The best trick competition coming up. Yep, we'll see how hard they'll huck it. It is time to get back to the action. It is the best trick competition. What does that mean? That means everybody that you saw in the vert competition goes back to the vert ramp and gets punk rock. What do you say? They get a jam format. Everybody can drop in anytime they want. It's one big trick for all the marbles. And hey, Kevin Robinson's in the house. Maybe he wants to get on top after a third place finish in the vert comp, Jimmy.
Hey, why not? There's an extra $1,000 on the line. Get out there, throw it on some of your best stuff, have some fun with the guys, and you might take home some bonus loot in the process.
Koji Kraft going for some lip tricks.
I don't know if any lip tricks are necessarily going to win a best trick competition with some of the things that these guys are throwing out. There's a perfect look back right there. Tail whip to X up. That's one of the staple moves that this kid's got in his arsenal. Another tail whip right there. Lots of lip tricks out of Koji, but hey, the kid's having a good time. That's what it's all about, fun, right?
And John Parker, who we saw finish third place in the vert competition, can he bust it down? The question is, what are Kevin Robinson and Jamie Bestwick thinking at this point as we watch John riding?
I'm actually surprised Parker's back out here. We talked about earlier that he had a bum elbow. That left elbow has been giving him problems all day long. He decided to not go for the cortisone shot and firing off the double whip. How about that? The comp's over. Does a double tail whip in the best trick competition. Look at that.
Well, I might be too quick to count on Jamie Bestwick or Kevin Robinson right there. John Parker coming with the goods, and it looks like Bestwick doing a little goon riding.
Yeah, it's the Brian Blyther chicken butt air. Hey, check that one out. The alley-oop can look back. Super stylish right there. And hey, why not? The guy's already won $30,000 on the night. So just get out there playing around. Maybe he wants to let some of the other guys have a shot at taking home some money here.
Well, you know, payday is payday, and then the foot plant flare.
Wow, the opposite foot plant flare on that one. Maybe he wants that extra $1,000.
Yeah, the acid drop, or I don't know, is that what they call it?
You know, you can call it whatever you want. Foot plant, drop it, acid drop works for me. Robinson with the 540, no-handed flare. This guy's got many in his arsenal of tricks. He does well on the Mobile Skate Park Series every year. Those are best trick competitions. The switch hand to no-hand flare.
I did the switch hand to no-handed flare to win that best trick contest. I just love doing that trick, and I'm sure people get sick of seeing it, but I enjoy it so much. It's what's fun to me, and to me, that's all that counts for my riding, is as long as I'm having fun.
Well, Kevin, you have fun. We had a great time watching you throw it down. I don't know how anybody could get bored with that. Kevin Robinson, your best trick winner, and hey, coincidentally, he's your LG pick trick as well.
Well, this is how you do the switch hand to no-hand flare. Check it out. Watch how his right hand slides across to the left side of the bars. The one hand, the left arm extends off. Check it out right here one more time. See it slide across. There's the one hand off. And then take both hands off. That is your switch hand and no-hand flare. You can log on to lgactionsports.com and you can check out all the pick tricks from the entire event.
Thanks for the 411, Jimmy. We're handing out the awards. It's time for what they call the rollout in the TV business. Special thanks to Clear Channel Radio. And of course, Mccoy Lighting, the official lighting supplier of the ASA.
We also can't forget about WMI Medical Services, performing athlete and consumer medical services at events worldwide.
And they did a good job scraping the Spanish fly off the ground. And for more information, log on to lgactionsports.com. For my little buddy Jimmy Coleman, I'm Cameron Steele, and hey, that's just about enough of us talking. Big props to Echo Entertainment and the ASA, since they write our checks. We love them. Jamie Bestwick did a great job. People, come back for more when you have more time.